Hey, what's up guys, this is Yuanjin here. Today's topic is camera stabilizer. Why do you need to use a stabilizer? Because you want to make the camera move smoothly, to create a smooth push-in, pull-out, or pan movement. A handheld gimbal is the most convenient tool. In fire escape films, we have 3 motorized gimbals and a mechanical stabilizer, but they are rarely checked out. I asked the previous directors, why do you not use a stabilizer? And they mainly gave me 2 answers. Either they were not aware of the existence of the gimbal at all, or they feel that it's too complicated to set up. So today I will be walking you through the setup of both mechanical gimbal and motorized gimbal step by step. Mechanical stabilizer installation and balancing. We'll start with the mechanical stabilizers. I have a Flycam Redking here. It consists of 3 parts: the head, the body, and the bottom part. And it's very easy to install them. The body can be screwed in to the bottom part, like from this side. And usually I want to get it longer so this screw will not get stuck in there. And then I can just screw it in. After several rounds of rotation, this body should be locked onto the bottom part. And let's do it this way, it's faster. After a while, it should be quite tight. Also make sure this thing is tight so it's not the body itself rotating. And now it's pretty tight and this is locked there. The next step is to mount the head onto the body, and there are 2 holes on both sides, and we need to align them well. So align them, and we need to use these 2 small screws to lock them together. And I'll rotate with my hands for the first few rounds because it's not too hard. And for the last few rounds, I'll use a special screwdriver to make sure it's tight. It needs to be very tight here. Okay, so this gimbal is already assembled. And we need to make sure the head's direction is parallel to the bottom part. The next step is to mount the camera on top of it. So there's a camera plate there, and we need to use a coin or a screwdriver, a slotted screwdriver like that. But this screw is super thin, so something that is thinner will work. I already tightened it up, so I'll just directly mount this on top of the stabilizer. Slide it in from the front, and we need to make sure the direction is correct. So this hole should be on the front side, and in that way we can make sure the screw of this stabilizer on the left side can rotate freely. If you put it on the other side, the screw will be stuck with the battery compartment. Another thing is that we can open this battery compartment here freely, and we can change the battery without taking the camera off the stabilizer. Okay, so we need to lock it here and make sure it's very tight so your camera doesn't drop there. This setup, I also put a Rode shotgun mic on top of the camera. It's a very common setup, and in this way it should be good to go. But the next step is to balance the gimbal. So it's currently not balanced at all, and I'll show you how to balance it. So after we mount the camera, the next step is to add some counterweight to balance the gimbal. Because it used the gravity to make sure the camera is stable, we need some counterweights, especially for this a little bit heavy setup. So we will use 4 long screws here. This is actually called a bolt, right? And nut, bolt and nut. I'll put 2 of them in there, and then mount 1 plate here, like that. And use this screw to screw it in. it takes a while to screw it in, so it's not very convenient to change the number of counterweights, but usually this only needs to be done once at the beginning, and after your camera is balanced, like, it doesn't need to be adjusted. So we can tolerate that it takes a while. Okay, this side is locked in. I'll use the other screws on the other side, and very similar. Just need to make sure. Actually, you can put the camera down before you do this because it's a little bit heavy, but for now, I'll just leave the camera on top of the gimbal. On this side, I will also put one of the counterweights in there and use these two bolts and nuts, whichever. I'll rotate it in. Make sure it's locked. Okay, so now the counterweights is already locked in, and this gimbal should be quite robust. You can feel it, nothing will move, and it's good. And now we will balance this gimbal. So first, I'll put it on this, and it's a little bit back heavy, and if it's back heavy, I'll rotate this guy to the front. There's an F in there. So I'll rotate it a little bit, and it will be moving to the front. And it's a little bit right heavy. I'll move it a little bit to the left. It's pretty subtle. I think it's roughly there, maybe a little bit front heavy. So move it to the other side. The front is to the front side. Okay. I think it's good for now, and I will test the drop time. The drop time should be 2 to 3 seconds, and it's obviously too fast, and we need to adjust it. It's too fast means the bottom part is much heavier than the camera, so I'll lower this pole to give it less distance, and it should create a slower drop time. Okay, something is not balanced here. Okay, let me do it one more time. 1, 2. Okay, still a little bit fast. I can adjust it a little bit down. Okay, then this should be roughly there. 1, 2. Okay, I think it's good for now. And this gimbal is balanced, and we can move with it, and it should be pretty much balanced. But for the smooth shots, we will leave it to the next video. And the next topic will be to balance a motorized gimbal. For the motorized gimbal, the process is a bit different. The camera plate is different from the other one, and we need to use a special screwdriver to mount the camera onto the plate. And the first step is I will mount it. Similarly, I will put the hole at the front and then screw into the camera. So when it's very tight, we can say it's good. I feel it's pretty tight. So this is set up. The next step is to install the battery onto the gimbal. So we will use this toggle button to get the battery compartment cap out, and make sure we look at the plus and minus to make sure the direction is correct. So inside, the positive should be up, and I'll put it this way. And there is a small technique that I'll make it a little bit tilt, and this one a little bit tilt in the middle, and then press them in. This is the easiest way to put them in. And for the outside, also tilt it a little bit. Get this in first, and then make it a little bit tilting, and then lock it. And this should be good. And I'll press this button for 1 second, and if I see the Moza logo, I know the battery is correctly installed. And I'll just align the top first and then press it in. The battery compartment is locked now. And the next step is that we want to make sure we can put the gimbal on top of a table. So we will use the tripod here. And there is a small hole over there, and I can just rotate this thing in. This might be easier for me. After this tripod is in, we can put the gimbal on the table. And next one is there is a button here. We need to unlock this button to rotate this. So it can be on this position and lock it again. And the gimbal will not move. Now we need to put the camera on top of the gimbal. And there is a lock and unlock thing. We need to make sure it's unlocked and then slide the camera in by pressing this button. So the camera is in and we are already balancing the camera. At this point, we need to make sure the camera can stay horizontal like that, and then we will lock this with this stick. And it's locked and it's pretty much balanced, and we will rotate the camera to 90 degrees and see if it's balanced. It's perfectly balanced now, but if it's not, we will use this screw to adjust the distance of this thing a little bit and then lock it. Now it's pretty much balanced, and then we turn it to 45 degrees, and it's a little bit back heavy, so we will just adjust this a little bit. And it's a little bit too much front heavy, adjust it a little bit. It's very subtle, and you need to have some patience to do it well. I think at this point, it's pretty much balanced. It's maybe still a little bit back heavy, but it's fine because we have the electronic motor to balance it further, so it's fine. The next axis is this roll axis, and we need to unlock this, and it's obviously left heavy, and we need to get the distance shorter to make it more balanced, a little bit more to the right, a little bit too much, very subtle, and lock the screw. And this guy should now, actually, still the front and right, because of the drop and it's a little bit unbalanced, and I'll adjust this a little bit, just a tad, and it's there. And then unlock it to the right a little bit, and it's perfect balance now. The next step is we can use the gimbal by press this button for 2 seconds, and it will be turned on. And now this motorized gimbal is ready to go. And for the smooth shots, we will leave it to the next video. Thanks for watching until this point. Above are the basics to prepare the gimbals to be ready to shoot. It still takes a lot of practice to actually create smooth shots. Don't expect to make it perfect on the first day. If you find the content interesting and helpful, please subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time.